The core of discovery shaped canoe-like vessels that transported them swiftly downriver to the mouth of the Columbia, where they wintered 1805 to 1806 at Fort Clatsop on the present-day Oregon side of the river. So we're going to pause here and let's turn to our Do Now worksheet and see if we can fill out any of this information. So from what we've worked on from our Do Now, I want to see who were Lewis and Clark. Who can tell me who were Lewis and Clark? Let's have Mauricio, Itzel, and then Michelle. Mauricio, who were Lewis and Clark? What did you put down? Everyone silently track Mauricio or track your own paper to be ready to write down his answer. Okay, what I'm writing down, if you don't have it already, or add it to your own, we're going to write Lewis and Clark. Write this down onto your Do Now sheet. Were two men leading an expedition. Okay, second person, Itzel, do you have anything to add? Oh, sorry. I meant Itzel Hernandez. Oh, sorry, Itzel. They discovered what?
The other side of the gap.
Great. They discovered the other side. Go ahead and write this down. Just add it if you already have some notes. They discovered the other side of the U.S., the United States. And then last one, Michelle, do you have anything to add?
They were some of the first people to cross the rock.
I'm going to say, great, thank you, Michelle. I'm going to say they were the first. They were the first. Go ahead and write that down into your Do Now worksheet. Alyssa's writing in her Do Now worksheet. Bianca's writing in her Do Now worksheet. Veronica's writing in her Do Now worksheet. Yes, Isaiah. You can just write into your journal next to it. You can write on a new page. I prefer to have it in your journal so that way you have it. Okay? Just write it on a new page on your journal. Thank you. On the next page. Great. Let's move on to number 2. What did they do? What happened along the way? What happened along the way? So I underlined a few important points. So are there any new ideas? Let's have Ruby, Kelvin, and then Levi. Ruby?
Thank you, Miss Yan. Well, they had to trade all of their food and things along the way so they could go to the other side.
They needed to trade a lot. Write this down while I'm writing. A lot to get to the other side. Great. Calvin? They were looking for land. Perfect. They were looking for land. And last one, Levi? That was in the who were Lewis and Clark. Can you add to that so we know they went on an expedition? But what happened along the way? What did they need to do? And who did they meet when they were crossing the large mountains? So I'm going to write while crossing the mountains, they met who? I underlined it. While crossing the mountains, they met. What were their names? Who knows the name of the Indians that I underlined? It almost sounds like shoe. Let's have Deisha. Deisha. You're welcome. Yeah, they met the Shoshone Indians. Shoshone Indians. So they met some Native Americans along the way. Go ahead and write that down if you're Do Now or in your notes on your journal. And then when did this take place? We're not going to write a sentence. What year was it? Let's have one. 1.
Thank you, Miss Jen.
You're welcome.
This took place in 1804/1805/and 1806/
This part, what is it?
1805.
Yep, 1805 to 1806. This took place in 1805 to 1806. Number 4. Why did they go on the expedition? I think we kind of answered it, but someone reinforce it for me. Why did they go on the expedition? Why were Lewis and Clark exploring in the first place? Need some more hands. Need some more hands. Chris? Chris? You're welcome. While Chris is speaking, we're going to silently track him or listen carefully so we can write down his answer. Why were they traveling? You know the answer.
Clark on the expedition, so they could check out the new dance and what positions it had.
Yes. I'm just going to write L and C. Thank you, Chris. Lewis and Clark were in charge of searching for new land. Go ahead and write that down. And then the last 2, we're going to come back to. Yep, Lewis and Clark. I just put L and C. L and C. Yes, Juan? You want to add on?
Yeah.
Yes, Juan? You're welcome.
All the way in the beginning, there's another answer. They said that they were trying to look for water or something like that.
Yep, great. Thank you for adding that. In the beginning, they were looking for water routes. Let's see, Lewis and Clark were looking, or I'm going to say we're searching for a water route that linked to the Pacific Ocean. Go ahead and write that down. This is very important. Thank you, Mom, for reminding me.
You're welcome, Miss.
Okay. Give me a thumbs up when you finish writing in boxes 1 through 4. Thumbs up when you're finished with boxes 1 through 4. Great. Okay, so we're going to jump into the second half of class. I'm going to give you your halftime update. Some glows, and I'm loving how on task the majority of us are. I love how we're writing down answers with the class as one team, one family. And then my grow is that I push for you to have 100% of your teammates so we can work on our teamwork skills, making sure that if someone at our table is not writing down what I'm writing down, they're not following along, make sure you just give them a polite tap like, hey, Miss Yen's telling us write this down, make sure we're doing it too. So the grow is to work on our teamwork. The grow is to work on our
Teamwork!
Get it?
Got it!
Good. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, I already did this for you. So yesterday we learned how to annotate, and we talked about when we don't know a word, we're going to circle it. Sorry, while I'm speaking, silently track me. Just put your pencils down. Put your pencils down. Good for 100%. Great. Salvador's tracking me. Crystal's tracking me. Chris is tracking me. Thank you. So, we learned that we need to circle words we don't know. What do we underline? What kind of words do we underline? Important. What kinds of words do we underline? Just shout it out.
Important.
Yep. What do we put an exclamation point next to?
Observation.
Yes, observations, when things are super exciting or surprising for us. And then what do we put when we have questions?
Question mark.
Yes. So these are the first push you to practice using. But I'm seeing some great annotations on your text. So I'd like to shout out DePaul. Can we give it up for DePaul? Great job annotating for our do now. So I've put our anchor chart over here, and then we'll add to it over time. Today, however, we're going to focus on main idea. So go ahead and Great, main idea. So main idea is the most important part of our story. So at the top of your page for main idea, the boxes and bullets, right at the top, or you can write on the side, I want you to write main idea and write the definition, the most important part of the story. If you can't see on the board, I'm writing it right here. Main idea, the most important part of the story. Go ahead and write that down at the top or on the side of your page. So, class, where am I most likely to find the main idea in a paragraph, in a short story, in a text? Where am I most likely going to find the main idea? Most likely is going to be in the middle, it's going to be at the bottom, it's going to be at the top. Where am I most likely going to have my main idea? If you think the main idea is at the top, most likely, give me a thumbs up. If you think it's going to be at the bottom, give me a thumbs down. And if you think it's in the middle, give me a sideways thumb. Go. Let me see. Seeing some sideways, seeing some ups, seeing some downs. Hands down. So, usually, like in our Lewis and Clark text, the main idea will most likely be at the top. So for our text, when we're looking, the main idea will usually be in the top topic sentence. For example, my cheeseburger looked delicious. After that main idea, I'm going to have all my supporting details talking about how delicious my cheeseburger is. So, when you're seeing a main point, such as my cheeseburger is so delicious, and then I start talking about the lettuce and the tomatoes. Stay tracking me, stay tracking me. Thank you. Stay tracking me. And then I start talking about the lettuce, the tomatoes, the chicken. Those are all my supporting details, but I'm still talking about the burger. Yes. So when we were reading our text and I underlined Jefferson hoped that Lewis and Clark would find a water route linking the Columbia and Missouri rivers, the main idea of that paragraph was to find, Jefferson was asking Lewis and Clark to find a path, stay tracking me, a path of water that would connect the starting point to the Pacific Ocean. So that was an example of the main idea. However, we're going to practice. So, go ahead and look at your boxes and bullets sheet. And I already did the first example for you. So go ahead and start tracking either the board or your own sheet. For the first example, main idea number 1, I put Lewis and Clark explored the Louisiana Territory and gathered a lot of information about the land, people, okay? Animals and plants. Need everyone to be tracking their own text or their own graphic organizer or the PowerPoint. Great. So that was my main idea that I gathered. My first main idea in the beginning. My second one are my key details, my supporting details, things that make my main idea make sense. The first one I found was Jefferson wanted to explore the Louisiana Territory. So Jefferson asked Lewis and Clark to lead an expedition to find a water route connection. How about Elizabeth, read to me my second key detail. Everyone silently follow along on your own text. Yep, Lewis and Clark met Native Americans, drew maps, and recorded information about the western lands, plants, and animals. And my last key detail, Catherine, can you read me my last key detail, please? Just read to me the last one. She said the Lewis and Clark expedition made it possible for settlers to expand and settle the West. So what I want you to do is for paragraph 6, work with a partner, try to find the main idea of paragraph 6, keeping in mind where our main idea usually is, and then we'll come back as a group to make sure that we're all on the right page. Get it? Good. Work with a partner on main idea number 2. Go. Aisha's working with her partner. Angel's working with her partner. Amy's working with her partner. Veronica's working with her partner. Paragraph number 6. Paragraph number 6.
Along the way, they would try to train on what few goods they still had rivers with the Indian standpoint set up which were rocking, Indian rivers later exposed these maps many of them wishes for the expedition.
Bring back in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Jonathan, you ask for permission. And 1. Okay, Kipsters, track up to the board. So, what was the main idea for paragraph 6? What was the main idea for paragraph 6? Did you find it? Where can we usually find our main ideas? Where can we usually find our main ideas? Let's see, Bianca. We can usually find our main ideas where, class? Where? Yep, at the top of the paragraph. So, knowing this, where is the main idea? Where is our main idea? What part is our main idea? Let's see. Isaiah, can you read out the main idea?
I'm not sure, but I think it is Lewis, Clark, and the other members of the expedition state Lewis by September 1806.
Yes. I'm going to ask that. I think the main idea is Lewis and Clark had to report their findings to Jefferson. This is the main idea. There are lots of extra sentences, but Lewis and Clark needed to report their findings to Jefferson. This whole paragraph is talking about what Lewis and Clark were finding, what they were taking notes on. They needed to talk, all these details are talking about what Lewis and Clark needed to do. So, looking in our boxes and bullets chart, we can write in our main idea. Number 2, go ahead and write this down with me. I'm going to write L and C for Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark, L and C, needed to write in their journals then report, which means tell. Report to means tell Jefferson, the president at the time. And you can just write it over there. Yes, Calvin? Okay. Give me a thumbs up when you're finished writing that. Give me a thumbs up when you're finished writing that. Great. Elizabeth has her thumbs up showing me she's finished. Juan and Carla have their thumbs up showing me they're finished. So, we have started to find the main idea. Now with our last 5 minutes, I'm going to pass out your exit tickets to see more main idea things. So, before I pass these out, I need everyone to start cleaning their tables and table managers returning the notebooks to the shelves. Go ahead and do that in 1 minute at a level 1 whisper. And go. You have 45 seconds left.
Okay, one more.
I'm hearing voices. The level is level 1, which is a whisper. What does a whisper sound like, class? Make sure we're fixing it. All materials to be off the table except your pencil. Table 7 has their table completely cleared. Table 1 has their table completely cleared. Table 2, almost. Table 2 has their table completely cleared. Table 3 has their table completely cleared. Table 4 has their table completely cleared. Once you get your exit ticket, we're working at a level 0. I'm hearing voices. The expectation is that the level is at a 0. finish, you can turn it into the DePaul drop box under the exit ticket sign. Once you finish your exit ticket, turn in your exit ticket under the sign and grab your life break. Raise your hand if you're still working on your exit ticket. Big hipsters. Raise your hand if you still have an exit ticket. Anyone has exit tickets? Okay, before we start moving, 1 second. Hipsters track the board. I'm going to show you your life work and what we need to do. For our life work, wait for 100% of hipsters to track the board. Catherine's tracking the board. Just track the board. You don't have to track it. Wait for 100% track. Thank you. So 99%, almost everyone. Almost everyone. 1 more percent. Thank you. So, for our main idea of life work, the first one is an example where I already annotated. So I want you to annotate and fill out the boxes and bullets chart. So your job is to find the main idea for these paragraphs. So for the back, it says main idea number 1 and main idea number 2. You have 3 paragraphs. Just find 2 main ideas. 2 main ideas. So you can choose which paragraphs you want to find the main idea from, but you need 2 main ideas. And for the key details, write at least 2 key details. How many key details?
2.
Great. How many main ideas?
2.
How many main ideas?
2.
Yes. And then for this side, you can just ignore it for now. Okay, so 2 key details, 2 main ideas. Yeah. If you want, go ahead and just put an X on this part so you know not to do it. Put an X on this part.
That's short. I want to do
bathroom? Right now, because it's almost time for class. Okay, and the last thing before we go is I want to talk about how we take our AR quizzes. So, hipsters scratch the board. Right, for 100% of us to be tracking the board.